All right, some people have this belief that Igbo land is landlocked. Landlocked in the sense that there is no direct access to the sea, that is the ocean. So, but this man has a different view, and he will prove to you that Igbo land is not landlocked. And if you are really talking about Igbo land, you know, including the Queres and the other places that is very close to the ocean, you will really understand that Igbo land is not landlocked. But we are usually talking about Southeast region, that's the 5 states of the Southeast. But this man will still prove to you that the Southeast region is not landlocked.
Actually, the Southeast has the deepest and the shortest access to the Atlantic Ocean compared to all of Nigeria. Since after the Biafran War of survival, you know, Ndi Igbo have been hit with a barrage of lies and propaganda, you know, concerning our access to the ocean. And in a condescending but rather popular phrase, our detractors say that the Southeast or Igbo is landlocked. But is Igbo landlocked? The answer is no.
Another aspect of it is that if it is a calculated plan to balkanize the Igbo land, as in make some people that are closer to the riverside, closer to the ocean, want to believe that they are not Igbos, could it be that it is a calculated plan? If people will make that understanding that they intentionally don't want to build seaports in Igbo land to avoid direct access to the outside world, including the international flights, despite that Igbo people are the most people that use this international connection. It was in the news that about 80% of the containers that enter Nigeria ends up in the Southeast. So why can't we not have direct access to the sea? Can you see? So it is safe to say that it was a calculated plan that some Igbo lands were being balkanized to avoid the Southeast access to the direct sea.
You understand? And there is this fear of the authorities. After the Civil War, they feel that opening seaport from South or Southeast, or international airport from South or Southeast, will give these Igbos, you understand, a privilege and or opportunity, you understand, to possess some kind of, you understand, in case of any danger in future. So that has been their fear. How to stop these people so that they will not rise again to become a superpower that will one day challenge the authority of Nigeria, or to challenge what is going on in Nigeria. Because
yes, another aspect is the Igbo belief system. Igbo have a very deep-rooted, you know, belief system that the Igbo people were stunned about it. So I want you to listen.
Is regarded as the god of thunder, justice, and truth. Then we have Ani or Allah, which is the earth goddess, who is in charge of keeping moral order. Then we have Idemili, which is the goddess of water and wealth. And finally, we have Ekwensu, which is the spirit of negotiation and war. But this particular spirit was demonized and called devil by missionaries. Think of Chukwu as the sun, which is the source of light. And then think of these Alusi or deities as sun rays, which is how the sun reaches the earth.
Those are the highlights of what we have for you today. So, but let's start with the proof that the Igbos have the deepest access of river or water bodies to the sea. And you get to hear there are about 3 access areas that Igbos have to the Atlantic Ocean. Despite that, we are not talking about the real, as in including the all Igbo nation. We are talking about Southeast. You know, there is a mix-up there, calling Igbo nation for Southeast. Southeast is not the only place that we have Igbos. So I believe that the point is the Southeast, not the Igbos. If you are to include all the Igbos, you find out that we have direct access to the Atlantic Ocean. So
actually, the Southeast has the deepest and the shortest access to the Atlantic Ocean compared to all of Nigeria. Since after the Biafran War of survival, you know, Ndi Igbo have been hit with a barrage of lies and propaganda, you know, concerning our access to the ocean. And in a condescending but rather popular phrase, our detractors say that the Southeast or Igbo is landlocked. But is Igbo landlocked? The answer is no. Igbo is not. Igbo land is not landlocked, you know. And like I said earlier, we have one of the deepest access to the ocean. Now, with this, I would like to welcome you to another interesting episode at Voice of the Sun. Today, we'll be dispelling the lies and the propaganda that says that Igbo land is landlocked and we do not have access to the ocean, which is something you will always hear in the Nigeria media space. So now, before we go ahead to discuss the geography of Igbo, I would like for us to define what a landlocked region or country is, right? So, a country or region is considered landlocked when it is surrounded by one or more countries and therefore has no immediate coastline preceding, you know, or providing access to the sea or the ocean. Now, simply put, this means that a landlocked country is a country that is inside another country. Now, with this definition, would you say that Igbo land is inside another country? The answer is no. The answer is no. So, to understand the far reach of our land, Igbo, let us dive into a little geography, you know, and list the far reaches, not few, the far reaches of our land, Igbo, before the Nigerian government, you know, carved it out and turned them into the south, leaving us with just 5 southeastern states, right? So, Igbo are located on both sides of the River Niger, you know, and we occupy most of the old eastern region. You know, before we had southeast, we had at independence we had an old eastern region which compassed the 5 southeastern states, rivers. All the south states were under the what do you call it? The old eastern region, right? So let us look at that location, that geographical location. So Igbo, you know, that is what I love to call Igbo. It measures up to 41,000 square kilometers, and it includes the old provinces of Onitsha, Owerri, East Rivers, which is Iguacha, which they renamed as Port Harcourt, and then we have Southwest Benin. No, not Southwest Benin. We have Southeast Benin, the Abo area, you know, and then coming down Abo area, yes. Then we have West Ogoja, and then we have the Northeast Warri. All of these are the areas that you would find Igbo people all around the south, the old eastern Nigeria, right? So so now a detailed study of Igbo will show you that. So now I'm going into the rivers, the waterways, the tributaries we have in Igbo. Now, a detailed study of our topography would show you that Abia State, Keta, Imo State, Anambra have some of the shortest distances, you know, tributaries leading to the Atlantic Ocean. We have the Azumini or Azumiri in Abia State. We have Imo River. We have Omambala, which is River Niger. And then we have Oguta Lake in Imo State. We have Oseakwa River in Ihiala, Anambra State, which actually terminates in the southeast end of the Atlantic Ocean. And then these rivers I mentioned above, they all have short, very, very short navigational paths to the Atlantic Ocean. And geographically, they have far shorter distances. If you measure the distance, which is not measured in nautical miles, from land to the sea, measured in nautical miles. Not the nautical miles of these rivers, they are shorter than that of Calabar, Port Harcourt, Ibaka Seaport, you know, to the Atlantic Ocean. One of my lights have gone off, but we must continue. So yeah. So the Azumini River in Abia State and the Imo River are basically 15 to 30 nautical miles to the beachhead of the Atlantic Ocean. Keep this in mind. The Azumini in Abia and the Imo River are 15 to 30 nautical miles to the beachhead of the Atlantic Ocean. And then we have the Obuako River in Abia State, which is 25 nautical miles. 25 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean from the confluence of the Azumini River and the Imo River. Where the Azumini River and the Imo River meet, there you find the Obuako River, and it has 25 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean. And then we have the Osakwa River in Ihiala, which I mentioned earlier, which is just a mere 18 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean. And it has a depth of 65 feet, making it the deepest waterway to the Atlantic Ocean, the deepest natural waterway to the Atlantic Ocean in Nigeria as a whole. Other waterways, other seaports might be deep, but they were dredged. This one is 65 feet deep. Oseakwa River in Ihiala, Anambra State, the deepest in Nigeria naturally, right? So, and then we have Osemoto in Oguta. The pronunciation it's what I'm trying to get. I've not been there before. It's spelled Osemoto, Osemoto in Oguta. It has 18 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean, right? So to understand why I said we have the shortest and the closest and the deepest waterways to the Atlantic Ocean, let us compare the rivers I mentioned above now in Igbo to the seaports in Nigeria. So
So my people, having heard about that, what do you think? Then you let us know in the comment section. But let's proceed. Aside that, there are so many things that we neglect about the Igbo belief system. Our Igbo belief system is well rooted to the core. And this young lady, you know, I love what she's doing, and she's trying to explain to people that don't understand these things. I myself, I am learning also. So let's hear what she has to say. And if you find these things interesting, please share it with others. Let others hear also. That is the purpose we are here. We are here to enlighten people and let people know exactly the truth and what is.
If you are an Igbo person, and because you are a Christian or a religious person, you are still scared of heaven or hell, then you are not a serious person. You don't know your roots. Because if you know your roots, you would know that before the missionaries came, before the colonizers came, the Igbos already had a deep spiritual system. When I was writing my projects in school, I was fortunate and privileged to pick this topic. And the topic is relevance of traditional Igbo morality to the quest for a good society. So today we are going to be talking about the Igbo concept of God. Now, the Igbos believe in Chukwu or Chineke, meaning the source from which everything comes from. They see God as the source from which everything flows. Now, Chukwu is known through creations, not in a physical form. You can see Chukwu in rain, fertility, harvest, birth, and destiny. So the Igbos believe that Chukwu is the creator of the universe. He created the earth, he created the sky, he created humans and all spirits. So the Igbos did not need statues or temples to worship Chukwu. They saw the divine in nature and in moral balance. But Chukwu was seen as too great and too big to deal with everyday human problems. So people began to pray to Chukwu through smaller gods, which they called Alusi. Some examples of these deities or Alusi include Amadioha, which is regarded as the god of thunder, justice, and truth. Then we have Ani or Allah, which is the earth goddess, who is in charge of keeping moral order. Then we have Idemili, which is the goddess of water and wealth. And finally, we have Ekwensu, which is the spirit of negotiation and war. But this particular spirit was demonized and called devil by missionaries. Think of Chukwu as the sun, which is the source of light. And then think of these Alusi or deities as sun rays, which is how the sun reaches the earth. So you see now that these Alusi are how Chukwu interacts with the world. These Alusi are not rivals to Chukwu. They don't compete. As a matter of fact, they are just an aspect of the whole. They are an aspect of the one. When missionaries came, they did not understand the philosophy. So they went with the idea that the Igbos had so many gods, and as a matter of fact, that the Igbos were pagans. But no, the Igbos did not worship many gods. The Igbos did not believe in many gods as they thought. The Igbos simply believed in one divine source that shows up in different forms. Now, in the Igbo system, each person is believed to have what is called a divine spark within them, which is also called Chi. Think of it as Hinduism when they said a person's divine spark is called Atman. But in our Igbo system, it is called a Chi. It is like your divine share from Chuku. So when Igbo people say Onyekwe, Chiekwe, meaning that when a person agrees, their Chi also agrees. It means that your destiny works in accordance to your will. Okay, and that faith is not passive, faith is interactive. Now, the Igbo belief system is centered on what is called Omenala, which is customs and moral laws. And at the center of this moral system is Allah, which is the goddess of the earth, the one in charge of moral order. But when you offend Allah, the earth goddess, it means that you have done something they call Uso Allah, which means abomination. Things like incest, a father sleeping with a child, or a mother sleeping with a child, a brother sleeping with his sister, or a brother sleeping with a brother, or even a sister sleeping with a sister. Incest is incest. You have done something like stealing or killing. All of these things are abomination against Allah. And when a person does any of these atrocities, the community, not just the individual, the community will have to come together to cleanse the land. And they are not cleansing it because they are scared of hellfire. They are cleansing it to restore harmony. Now, the Igbo spiritual system does not believe in heaven or hell. What they believe in is continuity. They believe that life continues after death, just in another form. If you lived well by respecting others, by raising good children, and by following Omenala, which is the laws of the land, then the Igbos believe that when you die, your spirit goes to join the ancestors, also known as Ndi Ichie, to protect your family. But if you lived badly, or you died shamefully, your spirit will fail to join the ancestors, and your spirit will be restless and it will wander about, not because of hellfire, but because you broke the balance of life. The Igbo spiritual system also believes in reincarnation. They believe that sometimes a wandering spirit or a restless spirit could try to reincarnate through a child in the family if it needed a second chance or it wanted to right its wrong. And this is why there are some children that when they are being born, the elders will say, Olowagachiri, meaning that this person has come back again. It is like how Yoruba say, Babatunde or Iyabo. Now, from all I have said, what did you notice about the Igbo spiritual system? If you listen attentively, you would realize that the Igbo spiritual system gave credence to both the masculine and the feminine energies. That is why you talk about Allah being the earth goddess and Amadioha being the god of truth and justice. In Igbo spiritual system, it did not just say that, oh, only masculine energy has the power. Just like how Christianity will tell us that Jesus Christ is the savior of the world. That is the masculine energy. Also, in Igbo spiritual system, while it acknowledges Chukwu as the creator of the universe, it also did not neglect other smaller deities and their powers. Unlike Christianity that tells us that God is the creator of the universe and we have principalities and powers. But the difference between Igbo spiritual system is that we do not bind and cast our principalities and powers. We acknowledge them. But in Christianity, we bind and we cast. We see them as enemies, when instead we should be seeing them as gods or deities that work for our good, not against us. But then, if you are going to say that it is a lie, only Jesus Christ is the Son of God and blah blah blah, then I have a question for you. We say that religion was invented as a result of man wanting to make meaning out of the world he found himself. So let's say maybe we don't know, you don't bring your own, me I have brought my own. How dare you come to tell me that my own is the demon and your own is the good? Munagi wolodo, munagi amarife. You see, no nkeke kanke mumma. How is that possible? So you see that something is not right here. Me and you don't know something, but you think that your own is superior to my own. It doesn't make sense. The best thing for us to do is to coexist peacefully. You do you and let other people do their own. No need to demonize other people's beliefs simply because you don't subscribe to it. That is the key to living, because at the end of the day, all of us just have a little truth to what the thing really is. If all of us cannot be right 100%, all of us cannot also be wrong 100%.
Well, having listened to that deep discussion by this lady, this young woman, she talked a lot about the Igbo belief system and so many things I myself I am hearing for the first time. Yes, so it's good that we let our people know these things and understand them. And if you find this video interesting, please share it, let others know the things that you've just learned about that video. It is not me saying, it's not carry talk, it's not me saying. That thing she's saying is what really happened in the past before the Igbo came and they alter some of these things. And our belief system is very organized, and there is a difference between paganism and omenana. There are two different things. So these things we need to understand them and understand our forefathers very well. I said that one day all of us will become ancestors, and I know you wouldn't like our children to sideline us, that we don't like our children not to remember us, and we'll be remembering the white people, the St. Peter, the St. Augustine, them, and we that will not be remembered. So, but there are two different things. Paganism and Domenana, there are two different things. It's just that this time around, people don't take time to explain these things to us. I myself, I am still learning these things, you know, to know the truth about the matter. So having said that, there is this speech by Barrister Uche, you know. I never knew that, you know, some people are aggrieved about the Ohanaeze Igbo President General worldwide, you know. So, but I know that that time they were giving out the post to the man, and some people were still aggrieved, but I never knew that it was at this extent. So, but
my leader, onye ndu, onye nchekwa, my counselor, Prince Richard Ozobo, Chairman and leader of Ohanaeze Igbo Elders Forum, I especially welcome you. I recognize your sacrifices and contribution to our people's struggle for emancipation. Onyeisi Ojemba ndị Igbo, onye na-agagharị ka ndị Igbo mara ebe ha nọ, na-achọpụta ha, na-ejikọ ha ọnụ ka ha wuru ofu, kwere ha awụ Igbo. Mana gị agala ije under the rain, under the sun. Ịnọ. Obi ga-atọ m ụtọ anọ ya taa. The representative of His Royal Majesty, His Eminence, Ezenri Akaji of Igbo, Ezetukweleka Deri, I salute you. I was in the palace last year because of my campaign for the office of the President General. Wayaka, in your little way, I will not say a big way, because when you have big to Igbo, and I want and I power, Chineke ga-edube gị, Chineke ga-echekwa gị, in the name of Jesus. Our sister 191 na-agba mbọ nke asụsụ Igbo nọrọ oge efu oge emebi. Chineke ga-agọzi gị. My name, Ahanwo Uchechukwu, ọkụkwa ụmụ onye Ikwere, ụmụ onye Elele. By the grace of God Almighty, President General of Ohanaeze Igbo worldwide. We cannot be talking like Igbo when Ndi Igbo, they treacherous to themselves, very treacherous. Nobody can heal you if you don't heal yourself. This is They don't have a clear conscience on how to handle matters that concern them internally. You treat yourself badly before the Igbo should treat them also. One of the problems I know, the average Igbo man, they will have courage in the Yoruba way to stand for what he thinks is right. Permit me, Anna Sobeke, no so was so, Elele, Egawa. Bama at Naso Igbo, Naso Abeke. Kai would Ohanaeze Igbo. Ngirime. Constitution Nigeria. King. The late Eze Ozubu, President General Ohanaeze Igbo, midwifed. Amaro Yolo. As first director of legal services of the movement for the actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, he guided us. And of course, it is on record for those who don't know. I was in Washington, D.C. to open the Biafra House and the Voice of Biafra International with Odumegwu Ojukwu and others. I presented the case of Biafra for the first time after the war in 2004 on the floor of the United Nations in Switzerland, Geneva. I did, on record, 21 years ago. Onye na-awụ president, onye na-abịabeghị meeting ọhaneze before, na-ama ihe ọhaneze wụ some bandits akpọpụta ya sị ọ ga-awụ president general. And because of ego, some people are gonna ego back on Enugu, same in election. That one unknown character called John Mbata, unknown, never on his about 70 going to 70 years, had never participated in any Igbo affair since he was born. Had never said with his mouth that one Igbo. Had never. Was a student at the University of Ibadan. Never one day participated in a meeting of the Igbo Student Union movement in the University of Ibadan. Never. As Ego, I get with Ego in River State, I get make it. We have seen the results. All part of the problem of Igbo. And standing here, no Igbo man living on debt can say that he have not heard what some of us have said about Igbo. In course of my campaign, I was in the Palace of Israel. I was in the Palace of Israel. I came to Ezenaji. I went to the Ezimo. There is no king of notes I did not visit, explaining what I would do when I become President General. So you must get it first right with leadership in Igbo land. If you don't get it, this is what you are doing. Because anything lower, what midwives it, what drives it, leadership. Without leadership, you cannot drive any cause. When the children of Israel were in bondage, for 300 and something years, they were there. Until Moses stood up and said he would liberate them. And they directed them, even though he had problems, but that was how he pulled them out. In Africa, Mandela was a clear example. ANC was established in 1912. Mandela was born in 1912. The blacks have been in bondage in South Africa for more than 390 years before Mandela was born. It required the willpower of one man to say no, the spirit of the nation must be raised up in 1958 after he visited Kwame Nkrumah, did a tour of several countries of the world, understood the grand structures of liberation, and forced himself into the forefront to liberate his people. If not, Amashegere Wunege na Nage, you will have the direct strategy guarding a bondage to the end of the world. How happen? Prince Richard Ozobo has all it takes to go to the comfort of his soul and rest. But he's at the forefront. Before I went to government, I'm an Egypt. I'm an Egypt. People like Atom Bane Fogra. I'm Egypt. People like Prince Ateze Ngara Ekewa Handi Kurekewa. Also Ekewa Handi Kure na River State. Ota plan ya Kure would have been a perpetual slave to the end of the world. I gotta know all leadership. The first thing we must do is to be interested in the running of the affairs of the Igbo. If we do that, every other thing will follow. I want to say it. I want to say it, and it's on record. When Wazirike's house was bought in Okigwe, 153 Okigwe Road. Owerri Road Okigwe. Ihe shaking Agemu Wazirike. The safest place Wazirike moved to Nono Rendo was Ali Ikwere. Asking, he was in Port Harcourt in a safe room in the hands of Ikwere people. Nobody who knew he was there, nobody harmed him. Contrary to what people have been writing, oh, Ndomba Miri Pitri Biafra, Ndoke Emereke, Anama Ajo. Onye ọbụla akụrụ akwụkwọ a na-akpọ the last flight by Augustine Okpe. The greatest number of pilots in Biafra were from the present day River State. It is there. The Biafran ambassador, representative to the UK and the United States were from Rivers State. The biggest abandoned property na Rivers State following the war. What property only Icho Franco Pigo. Today is Port Harcourt Polytechnic. They've refused to return it. Nduni put in a Biafra, Nachi as Eze. They were all banished after the war. That might never Kalabare Uruna, Lagos, in Ikoyi Cemetery, 1973. That might never for Popo Naba. For make a blood Maka supporting Biafra. The AC Jackson was dethroned and died in 1973. Nobody discusses it. Oh, Rivers State as support of Biafra. How? Go and read my interview, 26th of August, the year 2000, 25 years ago. Source magazine, front page, Ikwureza Igbos, on photo is alive. The man who granted the interview to me, Victor Okene, is a member of the House of Reps. There was no way anyone at Rivers State so it was natural that the people needed to deny their Igbo identity to their life. Go and read Don River Law by Franco Pigo. After the war, 3 attempts were made to kidnap Franco Pigo, the administrator in Agua province. He ran away from Port Harcourt and took refuge in government house under Abiaseka in Enugu to save his life for supporting Biafra. So you must understand the situation people who have before answer how we Igbo. Beyond that, forget the prejudice. Get to the basis. Talk to the people. Put them out. When some of us see Igbo at my time, I say we take Igbo, but today on our batana we don't answer Igbo. Whatever it is, all a plus. All a plus. Nobody had expected to die that potassium. At least I didn't know what is, whether left or right. No matter what, so how Igbo. A way state executive, way meeting point. Na people's club about Rumola Road today. So, Ojemba, you've contributed even if you die today, you will go to Alijona, which is paradise in Arabic language. They got there. Because the essence of life, they contribute to your quota and live, because you can't live forever. I know carry on work again 100 years, more. All those when you live and contribute. Just like some of us, when we meet the late President General, as very young men will come to his house, very modest house there, very, very modest. He will say, look, I've contributed my quota. Try and improve on what I've done, but never diminish it. Never diminish it. Improve on it. Add value and then forge ahead. And Chairman Ohaneze Elders Forum, or you were as a representative in Ohia, all really Ndu Kogi, Ndu Benue, Ndu Edo, Ndu Cross River and Akwa Ibom. The Ohaneze Constitution must be amended to bring them in to hold offices in that place. They must have a stake. They must have a stake. You cannot tell a man that Constitution needs a chair. It doesn't have stake. However they did it, today, Ndo Deke produce only President General, produce only Secretary General. Ndo Rivers State produce only Deputy Secretary General. They produce only Secretary General, produce only President General. I may look forward to what they make when or what onye to our President General Hannes and Igbo. You cannot say that na Nde to na Ndi Igbo ebughị ibu. You read that argument. Then Ndi Igbo nnọkwa na Rivers State ga-asị na ebughị ibu. Ndokede ka Awukano State. So I get married a constitution. I get amend constitution. May in such a manner that Ndunila Now, they should be top stakeholders. So that in the next convention of Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, not as visitors, but as stakeholders.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, having said that, and having watched all I have presented today, I want to believe that we have gone to a large extent, and we are going to call it a day. I am still your presenter, Chinedu. I say bye for now.